Hey everybody, this is Jeff, and I want to welcome you to this week's edition of Good News Gatherings Digging Deeper. And I'm excited about this week's edition because I get to talk to two people that I've known for a long time. First, I want to introduce you to Paula Kiser, and Paula and I have served together in ministry in one way or another for almost 30 years now. And she served as G&G's financial director, and she's also served on the financial team since 2003. Also want to introduce you to Savannah Kelly. Almost said Cameron, it was close.
It's okay.
But you got married when?
July.
Oh, gee,
July.
that's worse than me forgetting your name.
I was thinking August, but July. I got married in July.
Well, I've had the privilege of watching Savannah grow up, and she's been here at Good News Gathering since you were how old?
I think 7.
Wow.
Ish. 6,
Man.
7, 8.
Man. And I served with her mom on the leadership team, and also Savannah leads one of our women's life groups that meets here on Monday evenings. Now, in our last lesson series, which was entitled Expanding My Family, we talked about how Good News Gathering is involved in expanding the family of God globally. And we talked specifically about 2 international missions that we are in partnership with. One of those is the La Croix New Testament mission in Haiti, and then the other is MAE El Salvador, which is led by a couple that formerly came to Good News Gathering, and they were part of our church family for a number of years, and that's Bobby and Brittany Hibbs. And the 2 of you are here to talk today about that mission and about your role in MAE El Salvador and working with Bobby and Brittany. So first, I just kind of want to begin by asking you, Paula, I'll start with you, about your relationship with the Hibbs before they went into the mission field and what that was like.
Bobby and Brittany were youth coaches for my daughter Rachel and through high school, and they had an awesome mission team project that was called Highland County Mission Project, and they actually built the swing set that's at the homeless shelter. The homeless shelter was just brought to town and opened up, and so they needed a swing set. So Bobby and Brittany took the youth, and that's one of the things they did. Another thing was to replace a roof for an elderly lady at Rocky Fork.
Okay, I remember those, and that was something that was really, I guess you could say, that was something that was on their heart, was to really serve in very practical ways. And a lot of times those service projects were focused on people who were in very definite need. Now, Savannah, you actually were in the youth program, is that right?
No, unfortunately, I was just a smidge too young to ever get to be in their youth program. But I actually remember when I was younger thinking, someday I'll get to be in there, like with the youth. I remember thinking that, but they ended up leaving before I got old enough.
Now, they were called into the mission field, and which was a bittersweet day for those of us at Good News, because we love Bobby and Brittany, and they had served in a tremendous way in our youth program. But they felt that call in their life, and really, when it comes right down to it, they sold everything and headed south to El Salvador. And their mission statement is something that is I'm very proud of, because the mission statement of their mission is fearlessly reaching the forgotten youth of El Salvador with Christ's love, restoring hope to their lives, and discipling them to become mature and responsible adults, leaders of healthy families, and authentic followers of Jesus Christ. That's a huge mission when you think about it, and something that I'm sure Christ is very proud of. Now, talk to me a little bit about your roles in the mission, because both of you are playing a huge role on their board at this point in time. So, Paula, let's start with you. Talk to me about how you got involved with them.
Brittany called me and she said, I'm trying to create a budget for AME International, which was the foundation that they were with. And I said, sure, come over. I'll sit with you and help you. And so when she came in, I said, we need to start with prayer, because I want this to be God-led, what we need to do. And she said, thank you so much. She says, because I'm setting out in the car thinking, I don't even know where to start. I don't know anything about numbers. I've been thrown into this. And she said, I can't make heads or tails of anything. So she came in after about 2 hours. We were able to have a budget in place for them no matter how they went. And she said, I want to share with you. Bobby and I have a nudge to go ahead and form our own foundation. And so she asked if we go ahead and do that, would you be interested in being part of the board? And so I said, absolutely. And so she gave me the role of treasurer. Imagine that.
Which fits perfectly.
It is my gift, so.
Okay, Savannah, you're also on the board. Is that correct?
Yes, and I just want to say Paula is the MVP. She's the best. She does what no one else can do, and I don't think she could. I mean, I gotta give her credit because she's the bomb. Okay, so
Thank you, Savannah.
how did I get on the board? Well, long story short, I think 2 years ago. I'm not good with time. About 2 years ago, I went to El Salvador and stayed with them for a month. So that's kind of how I met Bobby and Brittany. Knew about their mission and what they were doing in El Salvador, which previously I had no idea about. How I got there is a whole different other God story. But I think about a year after that, I had gone to Spain, I came back, I was meeting with Brittany. She happened to be home for a little bit, and I was meeting at Brittany at Classics Diner, and she told me, I think we're gonna go ahead and start this foundation, and I was so excited, and then she was like, do you want to be on the board? And I felt so honored. I don't think I've ever been more honored for anything in my life, because I just think so highly of Bobby and Brittany. I learned so much from them when I was there. I really feel like my life was changed when I was in El Salvador and was able to learn from them, and so I was so honored. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do on the board. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm the secretary now.
She's the bomb secretary.
No.
And I take notes.
Because the minutes are out within an hour after our meeting.
That's true. It is true.
Okay. Well, when you think about El Salvador, especially where they're at, it's an extremely dangerous place to serve. And yet, they've stepped out in faith and done this, which is a tremendous example to our church family. But it's also a tremendous testament to their willingness to trust God no matter what. And you guys have witnessed that. You've been on site. You've worked with them very closely. Tell us just in what you've observed about their faith journey. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Just this year with the pandemic has been really tough. They had to close the church, and they did not open the church until, about a month ago, if that. So they've been closed. They were not shut down quite as soon as we were, but it hit maybe April, May, to where ours was March, and then they were not able to meet until just a month ago. But they were able to go out and provide food, benevolence to a lot of the families. They would check on all their youth. They were not supposed to be out. It was total lockdown. But because people know Bobby and he wears his t-shirt, they recognize this t-shirt. They recognize who he's with and what he stands for. So he has some protection. He feels like he has God's protection.
Okay.
So.
And he definitely has God's protection and God's favor. Just some of the things that I've heard from him, it's like, you thought you could do what? He relies and expects that the Lord will be with him and relies on God to come through.
Well, you think about where they're located. I mean, it's very heavy gang territory. And we hear about the gangs like MS-13 and things like that, because now we see some of them coming into the United States, and yet they're where it was all happening.
Correct.
And where those gangs were started. And so they're in the middle of a very difficult ministry scenario. In addition to the whole COVID thing, they struggled with a massive mudslide this year.
Two.
Two, okay.
Two.
And you think about there for a while, they were basically confined to their homes other than a certain number of times a day or a week.
Two times a week.
You could go out and get food or whatever. And the one thing that I read in their newsletter that just amazed me is they talked about people putting up white flags to let others know that they were in need of food. And I just thought how sad it would have to be to have to raise a white flag at your own house.
Mm-hmm.
You think about a ministry opportunity there. It's pretty amazing.
Yes. They also had, and you probably know his name, I think you've even met him, somebody that works in the ministry got COVID. And he also had some other issues. He had some asthma issues and needed breathing treatments, and they tried to get him into the hospital. They tried 3 different hospitals, and they were turned away. And I can remember Brittany saying, who is an RN by trade, that's her educational background, she said, where else but in El Salvador would you see somebody getting a breathing treatment under a palm tree? And because of that, was a witness to this individual's sister who was totally against the church and now is attending church.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, that's cool. Well, now, the mission statement says fearlessly reaching the forgotten youth. So their mission is really youth-oriented, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay. And you know, when you think about it, the only way you're going to change the culture in that country is to start with the youth. It's a generational thing. You're going to have to train youth in the faith in order to make any kind of massive cultural change there. Tell us about your month down there and what that was like and what you saw and experienced.
Oh man. Well, the month for me, I have always said, was like a slice of heaven because the culture there is so different than the culture here. So the things that I deal with here in the United States, the temptations I have, even things as silly as social media, being on the internet, just spending too much time doing things that are kind of a waste of time and not doing the things I should be doing, you know, those were kind of taken away from me when I was in El Salvador. So for me, that was awesome. But obviously for them, that's their everyday life. So it's much different. It's probably not always everybody else's slice of heaven. But some of the things that stuck out to me when I was there was the close-knitness of their church family. I mean, they were so close. They were seeing each other several times a week. There was a day we had cleaning day, and all the youth showed up to clean, the whole church. I was like, man, I wonder if that would happen. Like if we would just have cleaning day at the church, which I know we do. I mean, would all of our youth be out here cleaning the chairs? And I don't know, it was just, the people who were there were so happy to be there. And they were so glad to be there. And of course, you know, they're going through their own struggles too. And the struggles there are different than here. But struggles none the same. And just I don't know, I just had so much joy being there. For example, after church, they take all the youth home. And at the time, everyone was packing into the back of Bobby's pickup truck. And this is another thing about how Bobby has gained favor in El Salvador. So we would all pile into the truck, and Bobby had a specific route he would take to take all the kids home, because at this point it's dark and it's dangerous to send all your youth home to walk home. So he would take them all home. So we all pack in the back of the pickup truck. I speak Spanish, but they're teaching me more and more Spanish. They're laughing at me, I'm laughing at them, we're having a great time, it's raining on us. Well, I come to find out we're taking the same route pretty much every night. And so I had asked them, I was like, why, you know, is there a specific route you take? And they said, yes, so you can't take certain kids who live on a certain boundary line past another boundary line. So I was like, okay, why? Well, this boundary over here, where they live, they're close to two gang boundary lines. And if, let's say, Johnny lives in this gang's territory, you cannot take him over here. So there's a certain way you have to drop the kids off. But Bobby had to get clearance from both gangs to be able to even drive his truck through their territory.
Oh my goodness.
Because they think maybe, like, this kid is spying and trying to get information from the other side. And it's just, it's amazing. I think one thing that sticks out to me is just Bobby and Brittany's faith, the things they go through that we would never think about, but they go through it with such courage and reliance on the Lord that is just, I don't want to say we don't experience that here in the U.S., but it really floored me. And their discipleship is awesome. They do one-on-one discipleship. And I remember thinking, man, that would have been so great, growing up, no matter how old you are, to have one person you meet with every week and they're discipling you and pouring into you and someone you can trust. And I could go on forever. They're just awesome.
Well, Paula, you mentioned to me in an email that some of their current needs right now are an additional teacher, a social worker, and supplies for their kids, those kinds of things.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about how they're doing financially, I guess you could say. How are they doing?
They actually have had a very good year. They are just blown away because it seems like there's always, when there's a need, the money comes. Mm-hmm. And they just have not had to, and they had no idea. They had no idea how it would go this year because this is the first year of the foundation. And it's just been very receptive, and it's many states involved. And it's really cool to see that aspect where this one's from. And so it just seems like that God has blessed their ministry for what they have done, and when the need arises, it's usually met or close to. It may take a little bit longer, but it's always there.
Okay, well, good. Now, before we put their email updates, how to get a hold of those, and also for anybody that would like to donate, before we put that stuff up on the screen, I was just kind of curious if you guys had anything else that you would like to say to the G&G family about Bobby and Brittany and about their ministry.
Bobby was not a Christian before he came to Good News Gathering. And he grew within the G&G family and then felt God's calling to sell everything, every possession that they had, and to follow this calling. They're just special people.
That's amazing.
Well, and I
That's
think
amazing.
that's a testament to our church and honestly to your leadership as well.
Oh.
I mean, it's true. I mean,
Yes.
he,
They're an extension. I just feel like it's an extension of Good News Gathering, just like Haiti is an extension of Good News Gathering. And I would love to see a youth group together do a mission over there sometime with the help of someone that speaks Spanish.
Yeah, you can. We'll let you lead that up.
oh, really?
Yes.
I would be,
Because I don't speak Spanish at all.
I would love to go back. I really would. One thing I would say is just to pray for them,
Yes.
because, they can't always be covered by prayer. The things that and not just Bobby and Brittany, but their mission and for the youth in El Salvador and for the country of El Salvador. There's so many things going on there that would just, hurt your heart and blow your mind. So just prayer for their country and prayer for the people who live there. Prayer that, needs would be identified and filled, and just for continued protection over Bobby and Brittany and over their youth. They lose youth every year. It wasn't long after I was there, I became really close to one kid, and 2 months later, Brittany's emailing me saying he's missing and he's never shown up. And so they do think that he was killed by the gang. So, and he was 14 or 15. So just to keep praying for them and remember them. And I really think that they want to be in partnership with the G&G family. They want to be stay connected with us. And so just remember them, keep them in your prayers, keep El Salvador in your prayers. And even if it's just reading the updates or sending an encouraging word, even if you don't donate, just remembering them and remembering they're part of our family.
Okay. Well, friends, if you want to sign up for their email updates, and I would really encourage you to do that, because I find them to be a real encouragement, and they send pictures with their updates and sometimes even videos that you can click on to. But what we're going to do is right now is we're going to show up on the screen their email address, and that's how you can get a hold of their email updates, okay? And so we're also going to put up on the screen here in just a moment the way that you can donate, and that'll get you in touch with how that gets done. And if you have any question about that, and if for some reason you're unable to get that done on your own, you can always contact Paula, and she'll be able to help you out with that. And Paula, you want to give them your phone number? Is that?
I can do that.
You do want to give them your phone number, right?
It's 937-402-6736. And we also have a mailing address. It's May, El Salvador, and it's P.O. Box 70, Hillsboro, Ohio, 45133.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And we will see all of you again next week for next week's edition of Digging Deeper. And we hope you'll join us again. Thank you, everybody. See you later.